Today, I have no idea what this is in front of me.
Nice.
Laurie Black, this is a Samaroli bottling, Islay new filling malt, bottled 1992, 55%. What does that mean?
Yeah, let's take things one step at a time, shall we? So Samaroli.
Great bottler. I know
Okay.
Samaroli.
Yep.
So in 1968, he started buying casks, mostly to import into Italy. We've tried quite a few of their bottlings now. Very well respected. Famous for Islay whiskies that he bottled as well, particularly Ardbegs and Lafroigs.
Yeah, he had the Bowmore 1966 bouquet.
Okay, wow.
Which is one of his most kind of sought after bottlings, which now sells for 50 grand, give or take.
Bonkers.
So Silvano Samaroli obviously had, as you say, the reputation of having this incredible palate, being able to handpick the best casks at a time when
nobody else was doing it, right?
Nobody else was buying single casks.
So a really forward-thinking guy who was probably had access to ridiculous casks because he was one of the only people that was thinking of doing this.
Yeah, very much
independent bottling.
Yeah, very much a visionary of the whiskey industry at that time. Very much forward-thinking. This one, what do you say? We know it's Islay new filling malt.
So that suggests to me, and this makes me a little nervous, that this isn't whiskey.
It's not whiskey.
So this is
Islay.
It's similar. It's an aged spirit, but not quite 3 years old.
Yeah. So this particular bottling was obviously in Italy. Silvano Samaroli was familiar with grappa, which is a very young spirit.
100%. That makes sense already. Yeah.
Silvano never really understood the appeal of grappa.
Okay.
It's like, well, why do people buy this? Why do people enjoy this? So his kind of response was to find almost like the whiskey equivalent of grappa.
Okay.
So this is a whiskey
that's going to have that kind
but it's less than 3 years in cask. So it's not technically a whiskey. It's just very, very young whiskey. So young that it's not a whiskey.
Okay, so it's going to be it's a barley spirit. We're assuming it's going to be peated as well. This really reminds me. I was over in Rome with some friends, and I was in a restaurant in Rome late at night. And once we paid our bill, they brought over a bottle of grappa, a bottle of some kind of coffee liqueur, kind of Borghetti style, and a cognac. And it was a really old school restaurant. Nobody spoke English. We had a great meal, but it was like, okay, you've paid your bill. These bottles, you can help yourself now. They also didn't know much about Scottish people. There's 6 Scottish people on the table.
3 empty bottles by the end of it.
We finished a bottle of the coffee liqueur.
Okay.
We finished a bottle of cognac. The grappa, however, kicked our arse.
It can. I don't mind. I don't mind grappa in like a little.
For me,
shot glass. I don't know if I can manage much more than.
I know you can get kind of aged grappas now as well. Okay. But it reminded me of New Make Spirit. It was really tough. Yeah. So it does make sense to me knowing and having worked with some Italians who love grappa.
Clearly, you're cut from the same cloth as Silvano Samaroli.
So. Exactly. He agrees with me. He has a more Scottish palate by the sounds of it. But my friends from Italy, they would always say, "What do you mean you don't like the grappa?" And then coming to distilleries here, they were always interested in New Make Spirit. Yeah. So I'm nervous because I don't like grappa. This has been built as a similar product to grappa. New Make Spirit's a challenge, and for me, as you know, peated whiskey is a challenge as well.
I think I'm not really sure what to expect. So this is, we know it's Islay.
Okay, but we don't know the distillery.
We know it's new filling malt, which doesn't really mean anything, but we know it's not a whiskey. This is kind of widely accepted to be from Bowmore Distillery. Okay. So Emmanuel Dron, who was sort of a friend of Silvano Samaroli, an amazing whiskey collector. Apparently he spoke to Silvano and Silvano said, this is
okay, cool. So
but obviously it's not a single malt whiskey because it's not 3 years old, so we can't put Bowmore on the label. But let's assume it's distilled at Bowmore Distillery.
And here we are, 32 years later.
I know, it's ridiculous, really.
Having been bottled, I mean, that's amazing. This has survived as long as it has.
Yeah. So bottled at 55%.
All the descriptions in Italian, I noticed. I tried to have a little look at it.
Doesn't tell us a huge amount.
My Italian's not great.
British spirit, which tells us precisely nothing. But shall we open this up and give it a try?
Let's give it a go.
Young peated whiskey. What's been your Is it something you've
I think it's
enjoyed?
something. I think it's something that a lot of people might turn their nose up at. A lot of people are really fixated on the age of a whiskey. When it comes to Islay whiskey, I think Ardbeg Wee Beastie is probably the best example.
Okay.
But young Islay whiskey can be exceptional.
Yep.
New make spirit or aged spirit are not 3-year-old. I'm not sure I've ever come across a peated. I don't think I've ever tasted a peated new make spirit, or a peated, less than 3-year-old spirit. I'm a little worried about the cork as well. We've opened a lot of these old bottles and they've been a little temperamental, to say the least.
Even taking off the foil has been a bit ropey, to be honest.
So good luck. Let's hope this works for us.
I mean,
Is that just disconnected from the top?
I'll just throw this away.
Okay,
This is not
here we go.
gone.
Is it the glue that's the issue?
I mean, look at that. It's not even
Not great.
Not even nearly come off. So
Right.
we'll
Give me
bring
the
in our friend
give me the
Mr.
surgical
Corkscrew.
tools, and let's see if we can get lucky with this.
Work your magic.
Um,
I can't say I'm overly surprised, but
no, I think
would you say bottled 1992?
2, yeah.
I mean, opening bottles like this is a real treat. Like
It's the
I was born in 1991.
It's as if the
So
bottle was
it's-
stored on its side. The cork is so wet, it just went straight through.
Yeah, I think it also shows that bottles of this age, they weren't almost designed to be kept
Yeah.
that long.
Let's just try and dig it out. This is going to be a filtering job for you after. Okay.
Well, that's not a bad effort.
Got. Trying to get the other half.
I mean,
That's me in a bad mood already. We've not even tried this. Let's have a little. Let's pour it. Hopefully get a little less cork.
So, as I say, this is assumed to be distilled at Bowmore
Only
Distillery.
yeah.
Bowmore, is this a distillery you've had?
I
a couple
love.
of times?
It's my favourite Islay distillery.
Okay.
So oldest distillery in Islay, 1779. If
Yep.
this is the whiskey. Yeah, lightly peated spirit, which would be a bonus for me here because I'm worried it's going to be a heavily peated new make spirit. Good luck. And
I mean, Bowmore's not. Is it lightly or
I would say
mid?
I would say lightly peated, but again, I like Bowmore and bourbon if it's lots of tropical fruits when it gets a bit older as well. Right, let's have a little go. This smells.
It's not raw and rugged.
No. It smells like a whiskey.
For less than 3 years old.
It doesn't smell like new make spirit.
No.
There's a distinct note that you get of almost every new make spirit.
I mean, from the colour of it, it's not clear like vodka. So
this
it's
clearly,
probably been in.
it clearly had some kind of oak influence. Yeah, you're right. The peat is what hits you in the face first. There's almost a kind of chocolatey note. There's a sweetness, but it might be the smoke.
Maybe that slight. Obviously, Bowmore's from this era have that reputation of being quite sort of soapy and sort of lavender. Is that kind of coming through for you at all in the notes?
I really think that it's hard to dissect a drink like this.
Yeah, there's not a whiskey.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a little taste, see what we think. It's cool to try this stuff. A bit of history as well, but I just wonder how this has made it to us, you know?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
It's clearly Islay. I mean, 55% is a fair whack. Obviously, with age in the cask, you get the cask influence and it mellows, and you pick up the smokiness less and the ABV less. This is obviously very, very young, less than 3 years old. It's drinkable.
Tastes like whiskey to me.
Yeah.
It really. I've had whiskey that's tasted younger.
This isn't even a bloody whiskey.
And this isn't a whiskey.
Yeah.
I think that it being so young and being peated obviously kind of helps it. Maybe covers up some imperfections.
I quite like it in a weird way.
I'm really conflicted because everything about this tells me why would somebody bottle it?
Yeah.
Why would it be popular? The grappa story really is what makes most sense to me.
Yeah.
But the peat is so prevalent. It's so forward.
I think this wasn't. I imagine
also
Silvano probably didn't think this is, a better version of grap peat. Like, because it's got that peat
but it
element,
might
it's
work
very,
for
very
that
different for
market,
grappa,
or
but people who like a spirity drink.
I actually think it drinks quite well at 55%.
Yeah.
It's smoky, it's quite rounded at 55%. It's not overly alcohol forward either. I think the idea of this drink, spirit drink, is way more intimidating than the reality.
Yeah. I think, imagine being on the island, a nice, summer's evening, sitting outside by the coast. Somebody brings out a bottle of this, which would never happen. But imagine if they did. It would be like, this is Islay in a bottle.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how much this is worth in the secondary market, but probably quite good in highballs.
I mean, that's wild.
It's smoky and it's light and it's not a whiskey.
Yep.
It reminds Ardbeg Wee Beastie is probably the thing that I can pull a comparison to, which is Ardbeg would be raging with, but actually
I'm pretty sure this costs considerably more than a bottle of Ardbeg Wee Beastie.
This is 2.5 years old,
Yeah.
and the reason this costs as much as it does is because of who it is, right?
Yeah.
And the story behind it.
Yeah.
But actually, I think it drinks quite well.
Yeah. Taste-wise, I think it's quite unique.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that youthfulness gives it a real edge. I think young peaty whiskey, as we said, often with age, obviously it mellows out and becomes a bit more kind of well-rounded. I don't feel this is rugged and out of control.
No, I think
I still feel it's got an elegance to it as well.
you play it around. It's got a really nice texture as well. Like I've had much older whiskey that hasn't had the flavour profile or the density that this spirit drink has.
Can you imagine taking like a 20 cl sample bottle of this to
Anybody?
like a party on Islay? Be like,
what the hell?
I've got this. But this is really special.
I am.
I really like it.
My mind is honestly blown. It is totally blown from what I thought this was going to be to what it actually is on the palate. This is liquid history. Again, as I tell it is. It's really old. It's a funky idea. I kind of get why he bottled it.
Yeah.
It might be delicious.
I think it is.
Is that this? I've never ever said that about a aged spirit or a new make spirit. It's clearly, I mean, maybe it's one day off 3 years. I don't know, but it's for what I assume is the youngest whiskey I've tasted. Non-whiskey I've tasted.
It's got so much flavour.
Absolutely, it's quite complex. It goes on. We've not added water to it. I'm sure it's even more interesting with water, but it really drinks well as it is. Thanks for sharing. That is a cool dram.
I think if we take this to the Islay Festival this year, we're gonna make so many friends. Like half bottle of this, it's gonna be great.
And people will do what we done, kind of a nervousness and kind of think, what the hell is that and why have you brought it? And they'll taste it, they'll go, that is really
when you're
fun.
in that place, in that time,
yeah,
this is as good as a, Laurie 25, Bowmore 18, whatever.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Drinking Ardbeg 25 at Ardbeg sounds great, but see, drinking this with friends on the island, it's one of the most unique things I've ever tasted.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
What a treat.
What a plot twist.
I know, yeah. Cheers, Ross.
Cheers.
That was, really, really good.
That is a highlight of my day, honestly.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
What a curveball. Cheers.
Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bevvy content. We want to hear what you think, your best whiskey experiences, the whiskies you want us to try. It's a really exciting journey we're on, so make sure to join us. Download the Bevvy app on Google Play and App Store to keep track of your whiskey journey, connect with your whiskey friends, keep track of your favourites, anything you could ever want to do with whiskey, all in one place. It's the definitive whiskey companion.